What's up? Hello, in this video we are going to be calculating the year-to-date returns of stocks. This is one of the viewer requests that I'm making. So first thing to do is go to the link in the doobly-doo if you haven't seen my videos before. If you haven't seen the previous videos where we do stocks to CSV and all that sort of stuff, and download these two files, tickers.py and tickers.csv.py. These just have some basic and boring methods that we have to use. So things like reading from that CSV file, I'm not going to bother doing that in this video. It's in those files. We're going to import them in our main script that we're going to write now. So let's go ahead. Once you've done that, start a new file, and the first thing we need to do is do some boring imports. So I have them somewhere saved. We need to import from Pandas data reader. We need to import this thing called data. This is how we're going to get our data of the stocks. We need to import pandas as PD, numpy as MP, and we need to also import datetime. And also we're going to have to import some stuff from the tickers file. So we can say from tickers import get tickers, and also import from tickers. We want to import check dot. So get tickers, all it's going to do is going to read the CSV file tickers.csv and give us back the list of those tickers. Check dot is one which we require for the Yahoo Data Finance API, because let's say you've got a ticker, the one I always use, UU. UU dot actually is a London company called United Utilities, a London listed company. But to access their data through Yahoo Finance, we need to say Yahoo.L. Now, we can't just append every stock with L because some of them have dots at the end. So some of them need to be appended with just an L. Some of them, like for example, AA would need to be appended with .L because there's no dot there. So that's what that method does. I've explained that way too much now. It wasn't even that necessary. But okay. So we need to create our little entryway to the application. We're going to say if name is equal to main, not name, main. We're going to say for ticker in get tickers, and all we're going to do is say get year to date. So we need to create that little method. It's going to take a ticker. Cool. So let's go ahead and create that year to date method. So get year to date like this. The first thing we need to do is we need to take the ticker and we need to create a new ticker variable called check dot ticker like that. So that's just going to have that L appended that I just explained. Then we need to do some stuff with date. So in order to get the year to date information, we need to get today's date, and we also need to get the first date of the year. Now, what we're going to do, because obviously stock markets don't open every day of the year, they only open on business days. So if we run this script on a non-business day and we got today's date, then it wouldn't get the right price because it would get a non-value because it doesn't exist. We will sort that. So only worry about getting today's date regardless of what day it is, and the start of the year regardless of, given the start of the year isn't a business day anyway. So we'll cover that issue just in case any of you are thinking about that right now. So we'll call it now, we'll say datetime dot datetime now. So now we have today's date, and then we need to get the start date, which is going to be obviously the start of the year. So we can do that by taking now, and then I don't know how to pronounce what the hell this method's called. And what we can do is we can pass in this, and this will just get us the year. And then all we have to do is say plus dash 01 dash 01, which will get us the 1st of January of the current year. To get the end date, we just take today, but we need to format it correctly. So we can do, I don't think we even need to do the string, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we do time again, and what we need to do now is we need to format it in year, month, day, and the way we do that is by doing the same sort of thing again. So we're going to do month and then day, like this. Okay, right, so what we need to do next is get all of the business days. So the way we get all the business days is we need to use the pandas date range method. And what we can do is we can do pd, oopsie daisy, date range, pass in the start date as our start date, and pass in at the end as our end date. And also then we need to say frequency is equal to capital B. Make sure it's capital. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get data, and then we're going to reindex that data across only the business days, because the way we get the data is by saying get me all the data from the start date to the end date, and it'll get every day, but we need to then get rid of all the days that aren't business days, because they won't have any values in them anyway apart from the date. We're next going to encapsulate everything else in a try except block. So in this try except block we are just going to get the data. That's what's going to cause the exception to be thrown. And if that is the case, we are just going to print an error and say error for, and then we'll just pass ticker L. Reason you want to pass ticker L as opposed to just a ticker is because maybe it's something to do with the check dot method. Some tickers are like really special, so you might need to add special cases. It shouldn't be the case, but there will be a few that we can't get data for various reasons, so that's just something to be aware of. Next, we're going to create a variable called panel data, and this is going to contain all of our data that we get from the API, the Yahoo Finance API. So this is where we actually get the data from. We use the data.dataReader method, pass in the ticker L. The source is going to be Yahoo, and then pass in the start date, and like I say, also pass in the end date. That's going to get us all of the data for the stock we've provided that Yahoo has from the start date to the end date. Dead simple. Then what we care about, because we only care about getting the adjusted close for this video, well, not the adjusted close, sorry, we only care about getting the year to date return. We want to do our calculations on the adjusted close price. The reason we want to do it on the adjusted close price is because that accounts for stock splits. See previous videos for more of an explanation. And this is where we have to do that re-indexing that I mentioned earlier. So this is where an apt place to do it would be. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a method in a minute that's going to take the panel data. It's going to take the column we want, and in this case we want the adjusted close, and we also want to pass in all business days so we actually can index it correctly on the days that we care about, which are all the business days. Okay, and then let's go up to the top here and we'll just create a new method, and we'll call it reindex column. Like I say, panel data, the key, which will be the column we're getting, and we'll just say dates or something like that. Then we can say the column. What we want to do is we want to say column is equal to panel data, and the key, and we want to reindex it by the dates, and we want to return the column drop NA. So drop NA is going to take all of the values that are in the column that are not a number. So typically, because this is a date series, so what the column what this data looks like is it's going to be like 2020 01 02, and then the price. So let's say the price of the stock is this, for example. But for some days it's going to be this. Okay, and for those times we want to get rid of the data altogether, just get rid of that row, and that's what drop NA is doing. Okay, coming back down here, we are going to now get the current price. The current price is really easy to get. All we need to do is we need to say np mean, take the adjusted price. We actually don't need to say np mean, but I always do it in these ones because sometimes you get values that are way too much have way too much information that you just don't need. And then we are going to get the start year price. So in order to get the start year price, we do a very similar thing, but we do NP mean, we do the adjusted close, and then we can do square brackets 0, and that'll get the first value. And of course, we've dropped the January the 1st because that's going to be a non-value because it's not a business day. Stock markets aren't open on January the 1st. So this is going to likely be January the 2nd, depending on what year you're doing this in. Obviously, because we've dropped NA, we won't have January the 1st, so it's going to get the first value, which is why this is going to work. Then we can do the calculation of the year to date, which is actually the simplest part of this. All we have to do is take the current price, divide it by the start year price, and multiply it by 100. And then what we can do is we can make a little data structure. We'll call it stock. It's going to be a dictionary style thing. We'll pass in the ticker. We'll add the date. We don't necessarily need to add the date really. Doesn't really matter, but it can be useful. For example, if we wanted to know what the last business day was, I mean, most people will know that. But it gives you an idea, especially if you were going to do something with this data and you wouldn't necessarily know what the business date was at the time. So that's one of the reasons we might want the date. And of course, then we can just pass in the year to date as well. And what? Oh my God, he can't type. Okay, so close that off. And then what we can do is we can print the stock like that. Save it, and now we are at a point where we can run this program and hopefully it should work. Now, if you want to look at my previous videos, we can do other stuff with this data. So we could put it to a CSV file, for example. That video will be linked in the description at the end of the video as well. So let's see if it runs now. And of course, anyone who's ever watched my videos before will know one thing is about to happen. And almost certainly I've typed something completely wrong, if I can even type correctly to write the program. But here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we've got errors. We've got many errors. Okay, this isn't good. Something's gone wrong because I've got the try catch. I can't actually see what it is. Okay, yeah, whatever. Okay, let's figure out what's gone wrong here. We might have to take the try catch out. Or try except, should I say, out? I can't see anything obvious at the moment. It's going to be something daft. Oh, I see what. Is it there? Nope. Okay, we'll try getting rid of the try catch, try except. I keep saying try catch. I've been programming Java too much recently, and we will. Whoops! Get rid of this as well. Okay, now we'll run it and we'll see what happens. Name current date is not defined. Why have I put current date? Oh, you're an idiot, Harry. My name's not even Harry. Christ. Right, instead of putting the try catch block back, I'm just going to run it, see what happens. And there we go! Great success. It will crash at some point because there's going to be one that's going to not get data. Like I say, it just crashed there. So no data fetch for that one. But obviously to prevent it crashing, we can just put our try catch block there. So while I'm doing that, you might be thinking of questions you want to ask, because if you do have them, you can put them down in the comments and I will try and answer them all as quickly as possible, because I pretty much answer every comment that gets put on my videos. If you have any requests for videos as well, put them down in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe for more, and thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.